We're going to talk about our struggle. We're going to talk about it all. Like, we're just going to get deep.
We're going to talk about those struggles that have come with becoming parents.
It's the stuff that I think people don't talk about enough or don't talk about at all. Dakotas has grown so much, but we've also grown. We have a lot. Myself personally, I got a lot of areas to grow in. Probably won't ever grow in them too much, I ain't gonna lie.
These are what we're struggling with. So just because we're struggling with them doesn't mean that every person's going to struggle with them. I think that's one thing that we are learning is that like a lot of these struggles that are like placed upon us that people say, oh, this is going to be so hard. We haven't all experienced. So that's like a lot of freedom for like anyone that's becoming a new parent. Just because someone else struggled with this area does not mean that you're going to also struggle with it. It could be something completely different. The awareness though is good.
Things that people talk about like sleep, changing diapers, the crying, all of that, I've not struggled with. Like I do not care about any of that.
Two things that I struggled with the most, or I'm struggling with the most, I would say the number one thing that has been really hard for me is being so far away from our families. So Avery's family's in Kentucky and my family's in Montana. So, and we have a pretty big family when you encompass all of our cousins and just family members that are really important and also like kind of going through the same thing right now that have kids. We have 15 nieces and nephews. Yeah. And so we have a big family. And for me, it's been really hard, I think, being away from them. My mom flew in for a week and that was super great. But I feel like being so far away, I wish I could still talk to them or go to their house. I would like to just go over to his brother's house, you know, for a Saturday afternoon. Where here, my only outing is to Starbucks or to Dutch Bros or to Target. And there's no one that's a family member or a friend that's there. We have a lot of friends. Those things just have to be scheduled more of like, we're outing as a friend, where if I were to go to, you know, family member's house in Kentucky, like it's just family. Like I don't have to prepare much. I don't have to plan much or that type of thing. And it makes it a little harder for me, I think, which kind of leads into my second like struggle is the postpartum anxiety that has come that I wasn't prepared for. So I have never really struggled severely with anxiety. And nor did I think that it was going to really affect me postpartum because I've always been really kind of in control of that type of anxiety. And so I didn't prepare Avery at all for what this could look like if there was anxiety because it wasn't really anything that I thought would affect me. And it definitely has. Just like some anxious thoughts of like, my world now revolves around our baby and how to feed him. Breastfeeding was very, very hard for me initially. With day 2 cluster feeding, that is not talked about enough. And you just don't feel adequate because your baby wants to eat like every 45 minutes and they eat for 20-30 minutes.
When we talk about becoming a parent and you're going into breastfeeding, I think that the cluster feeding and that should just be brought up more and made more aware of going into it.
Because it's a huge event.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like,
and yeah, you felt like it was never going to end, so.
Yeah, I would say those are the 2 hardest things, which don't even like directly affect him, but they directly affect me.
Being a mom, those are the 2 hardest things. Yeah, I want to be like up front on what I'm struggling with. I've met like with friends. Again, I said it before, but a lot of the things that they struggle with or is like super prominent to them, it's at the front of their mind, they hate it, are things that I do not care about. I'm thankful that they said those things because it made me aware of like everybody having different struggles when you come into fatherhood. The biggest thing that I've been struggling with is not feeding him, not changing him, not staying up with him,
not waking up at 3 a.m,
not his crying. It's been emotionally, not emotionally towards him, but it's emotionally towards Tabby. And I just haven't been a good supportive person in my role. I feel like I've been excelling at fatherhood, but I think I'm underperforming in supporting her and validating her. For me, emotionally, I can be pretty cold, I can be pretty dry or out of touch with certain emotions and things just don't get to me, which also is usually why I'm always pretty happy, and yeah, things just don't matter to me that much.
They really don't matter to him that much.
They don't bother me.
They just don't. He's well at managing them.
Yeah, I'm very in control of like my emotions.
Exactly.
And before she started going through postpartum, like I was very in control and like aware or able to handle like her emotions. And now I'm not. I'm not doing that to the best of my ability. And I see that's where I really lack at. And I think a lot of fathers also lack at this, is just being aware of the postpartum. And a perfect example, we have a balcony and Tabby would always lock the door, and then she started shutting the blinds. And we live on the top floor of our apartment complex. And so I didn't understand why she kept shutting the door or shutting the blinds, because it took away from all the light that came in. You good? It took away from all the light that would come in, and her reasoning was she was afraid that the baby was going to fall off of the balcony, right? Mm-hmm. And my response to that was...
He's pooping.
Yeah, it's definitely... Y'all probably hear a fart. My response to that was essentially... just be more realistic. The door's shut. You're not anywhere near the balcony. Think of it as like it's not realistic. And so I kind of would dismiss that fear of her. And so in that moment, I'm not there for her emotionally, and I'm leaving her in a position to deal with those by herself. And her train of thought, correct me if I'm wrong, would be, dang, this isn't valid, but I feel like it's valid and I feel these emotions, but my husband isn't supporting me in how I'm feeling. He's just trying to correct how I'm feeling.
That's very well put.
And yeah, I think maybe a lot of dads deal with this, maybe not, but for me, that's been my biggest struggle, is supporting Tabby, being a good husband and not just a good father. And we had to call our mentors to kind of help us through some of these thought processes and just to continue to communicate. Like, communication is such an important thing in our marriage, and it helps us so much. And being able to talk through this is, I think he's just farting. His eyes aren't open. He's still asleep.
Yeah.
Being extra and making himself cough.
So with that, we had to call our mentors. We didn't call family and we didn't call our friends because we've learned in our marriage it's best just to call our mentors who are on our team for the both of us. So we called them and they just walked us through. Honestly, we explained what we were having. We both explained the situation, and then they kind of just sat there and got us on the same page. And it makes me so grateful to have them, because it was like an aha moment at that point. We realized we weren't praying as much together. And then we also realized, in terms of the emotional side, how do we talk through that? How does Avery help me emotionally, but also not play to the emotions? Because it's got to be productive, and how we deal with those. Sweet baby boy. Hi, Baba.
And what I want to tell anybody who's about to have a baby or just had a baby, realize that your struggle is your struggle, and you're valid in it. And people will tend to tell you or try to prepare you for what is to come. But I think you just got to go into it with an open mind and be able to adapt and learn. And it's a season of growth for not only your baby, but also you, your spouse, and just in every aspect of your life. There's probably some things that we are missing, and we'll hit on as we continue to go and create content and grow as a family and document our lives. But we hope that our channel is a reflection of working through stuff, growing, adapting, and we hope that you're able to take something out of our journey and apply it to yours. Yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
It's not AT timeout anymore. It's becoming the Ford. So what did
BTS or
BTF becoming the Ford's out?
Yeah.
BTF out. 1, 2, 3. BTF out.
Not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad.